Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video. If you find it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also click on the notification bell if you'd like to be notified when I next upload a video. Many thanks and I hope you enjoy this video.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. In today's video we are going to be creating this mani. I'm going to be doing these nails here. I won't show you how I do my right hand because I'm right-handed, so that's my dominant hand, and watching me paint it is quite slow and painful and I didn't want to subject you to it. So I'll show you how I've done my right hand, but the techniques I use are exactly the same on both hands, which funnily enough is not how I set out to do this video. So if you take nothing else away from this video, please just take away that sometimes you start with a plan for a mani and it just doesn't pan out and you end up just going with the flow and doing something completely different. So I started out, I was intending to use striping tape and I was intending to do ombres with these colours, but I really didn't like the way one of these colours in particular applied, so I didn't end up doing that. So you'll see a few fails in this video, but I wanted to leave them in because I think sometimes we sit and we do our own nails and we watch videos and we think, oh, I do it so easily, like obviously I'm doing something wrong. And you're absolutely not. You know, sometimes we all sit down, do our nails and we're just not feeling it, it's just not our day, and that's just the way that it goes. So you have two choices. You either just take off what you've done, start again, or try again tomorrow, or you just plod along and go, okay, I'm not loving it, so I'll change my plan and go with something else. And that's exactly what I did, and I think you see my thought process as I'm going through the video as to how that happened. So onto what I used. I started off with my builder gel. I don't show you that because that's just boring, but I use Luminary's Peace is the builder gel that I use, and then on top of that I basically used all Madam Glam colours today. So Paradise, which is this holographic, which I just love, it's fantastic. And for those of you that have been doing your nails for a while, you know that originally if you wanted any kind of silver hollow on your nails, you needed to use loose glitter, silver hollow glitter, and then the powders came in and now we're seeing them in gel polish, which obviously makes it so much easier to apply, and it's beautiful, applied really nicely, loved it. Baby Nest is this bright pink, loved it, beautiful to apply, beautiful color, absolutely loved it. This was my nemesis, this was today's enemy number one. It's called Glow, and it's just a different consistency and I just wasn't feeling it. It's a glow-in-the-dark colour, and you often find with glow-in-the-darks or colour changing polishes that the consistency is really quite different. They can be quite goopy like this one is, but I actually found this one to be really streaky. I used 3 coats of it in the end, but yeah, it was still a bit too streaky for my liking. So this is the one that you see me fight with a fair bit during this video, and this is what changed my plans because I wanted to do colour ombre, ombre and a few other bits and pieces, but the way the finish of this, I really didn't like it, so I decided to cover it up and put stamping on top of it instead. So these 3, if you bought last year's Madam Glam advent calendar, you will have these 3 colours in your collection. They all came in that. I've also used the shimmer white, you'll see me use that. This was in their previous year's collection, the 2019 advent calendar, and this is a fantastic white. If you're not a big fan of stark whites, which I'm not, I quite like a more subtle shimmery white. This is perfect, it's beautiful. I also used Amy's, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that, Amelie. They have a blossom gel, which I used on this nail. I was actually supposed to use it on this nail, but I forgot. So as I said, some days you're just not feeling it, and today was one of those for me. So I did use that for one of my nails. Then I used Born Pretty's white stamping polish. And I used Madam Glam's top coat just as the first layer of top coat for my stamping because this cures with a tacky layer. So I used that for my first coat. And then my top coat is Luminary's Empower, which I just love. So that's everything I used today. I hope you enjoy the video. As I said, you will see some fails in here because I just wanted you to, realise that everyone has days like that. So don't feel bad when you do. Have fun, take care, and let's get into the mani. So now we're going to start working on the other hand. So these nails have all been prepped. They've all got builder gel on them, which is basically going to be as my base coat. So now they're ready for their colour and design. So on this hand, so far we've got this glow colour on the little finger. This is the one that, as I mentioned in the intro, I'm really not happy with this colour. I don't really like the way that it looks on the nail. Not as in the colour itself, the colour's quite pretty, but I don't like the finish of it. Yeah, it's just not smooth and it's a bit too streaky for my liking. So basically we're just going to cover it up with a bit of stamping. This one is all finished. In fact, all these three are finished. So these two that have the glow colour, they're the ones that are going to get stamping. And so this is what I was kind of saying. Like sometimes as you start to go along and you think, oh, you have a plan in mind, and it always doesn't go to plan. One of the things I wanted to do on this hand was a half-half with the glow and the baby nest, and then put some striping tape down the centre. But because I don't actually like the finish of that glow, I've changed my mind. So I'm going to put this baby nest on the little finger, and this is absolutely my kind of colour. I love this colour. Yeah, definitely see myself wearing this again. Then you just want to cap the free edge lightly so you have a little bit of colour. Just going to clean up that little bit around the cuticle there. That's not as smooth and as rounded as I would like. Okay. So on the next finger, I think we've got Paradise on the other hand. Next to that one, I might do glow, and then I think as with the other hand, we're going to end up stamping with this. So you'll see what I mean, and it's like everything, it is personal preference. It's how you like polishes to work, or to work for you, rather. And I just find this, probably because of the shade as well, it's very streaky to apply. It's kind of goopy, but streaky at the same time. And that's probably one of the reasons, like you'll very rarely see me wear these sort of lighter, paler colours, because I do often find them streaky, and I just don't like that as a finished look. If you're doing something like a bold colour, like a black or something like that, and you know you're going to get a few streaks in the first coat, but in the second coat they're all smoothed out. You know, all those streaks are gone. You can't see them because the colour's got that second layer on it, and it smooths itself out nicely. I'm really not feeling that this one is doing that for me. But you know, you live and learn. Yeah, and that's the fun of it, the experimenting, see how things work out for you. I think for something different, I might put the Paradise on this one, and then we'll probably put Baby Nest on that front one again. Oh, no we won't, because then we've got Baby Nest on the thumb to match the little finger. Okay. All right, we might try a bit of a gradient and see if we can get that to work for us. If it doesn't, what happens? Worst comes to worst, you take it off, right? It's not the end of the world. But I have made a bit of a mess here, so I'm just going to clean that up. So all I'm doing here is I'm just dipping, this is my cleanup brush. I really like this brush. And I'm just dipping it in some isopropyl alcohol, or IPA, dabbing it off on some paper towel, and then I'm just running it around the cuticle area because I want to get a nice smooth rounded edge. I also had a little bit of polish on the skin there, which is obviously no good, so we've got to get rid of that anyway. And I'm also going to take a bit of an orange wood stick just to tidy that up a little bit. Orange wood sticks are great, especially the ones, you get different ends on some have a like a blunted end. I like the ones that have a pointy end because they get into all these little tiny little nooks and crannies that your brushes and things just can't get into. So I'm just going to cure that for 30 seconds. So I've cured that for 30 seconds, and then I've actually put a second coat of all of these three colours on while I was away, because it's not the most exciting thing in the world to see. But I haven't cured my second coat yet because I wanted to show you something that can help you when you've got streaky colours. I honestly don't know how clear this is on the camera, but you can see sort of from about here down, The nail's not too bad, it's not too streaky. There's a few patches that I don't really like, but I'm going to do a third coat anyway. But at the cuticle here, it is really quite streaky. And yes, you can do a thicker coat at the cuticle, but I really don't particularly like that. You're also introducing to yourself the possibility of wrinkling, which I don't like. So I'm just taking a detailer brush and I am just going to put a little bit of extra in these bits that are really patchy. You will need to let it settle, okay? So don't do this and then immediately pop it in the lamp, because you need to give the gel time to self-level. But I did this on my other hand, and it can be a useful way to try and fill in patches that just seem to be streaky, that you're just not feeling it. And unfortunately, this is one of those colours for me, which is very rare for me with Madam Glam. I really normally am a big fan of their colours. And like I said, I'm loving the other two that I'm using. But yeah, I'm just not feeling it with this one. Oh, and of course, because I haven't cured that, I've just gone and got that. I forgot I hadn't cured it. So we'll just tidy up our bird's nest while we're waiting for that to self-level. Now on a second coat, I don't cap my free edge again. Okay, I either cap it on the first coat or the second coat. I don't cap it on both because I don't like my nails to be very thick on the edges, but I do like them to look like there's a bit of colour there rather than just the sort of clear edge of my nail. So I cap them once, either first coat, second coat. I honestly don't find that it matters. And then, yeah, whichever one you do it on, just don't do it on the other coat. And then as you can see, like, you've got a nice cap there on the edge, but it's not going to be too thick and not it's going to chip or peel. Okay, and as you can see, my glow colour has self-leveled a little bit. It's not quite as streaky as it was. So I'm now going to cure that for another 30 seconds. Okay, so now we've got, I've put a third coat on of that glow nail while I was at it. So that's now as streak free as I'm able to get it. Yeah, as I said, not a great fan, but that's okay, that's not too bad. I've actually changed my mind for the index finger. I was going to do a gradient between these two colours, but because I really don't like the streaky factor on this one, I've changed my mind. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do another marble look. I don't normally do the same thing on both hands because, I like to mix it up when I get bored. But sometimes, as I said, you just need to be flexible based on how your mani is going on the day. And this isn't one of my best ones, so that's fine. I'm just going to improvise and do what I think is going to work best. So the way I do these generally is I start with a base of white. I very rarely use a really crisp, creamy white. You will see me do it occasionally, like I think on my last mani, which was my black and white mani I did then, because obviously with black and white you want that stark contrast between those two colours. Usually with white, and also because I've got very, very pale skin, I find that a really stark white's just a bit too harsh for me. So I actually really like this white that I'm using here, which is a Madam Glam colour it's called Shimmer White, and I love it. It came in the 2019 Advent calendar for anyone that bought that. It was in number 17. It was in Splot number 17, and I love it. I've actually since bought a big bottle of it, and yeah, no doubt that will be opening sometime soon. So that's Shimmer White, really, really lovely white. It's a soft white. It's great for winter nails because it's almost got like a kind of snowy, frosty tinge to it, and that looks great. So I'm just curing that at the moment, and then we're going to do our colour gradient. You can see I've got the remains of the one I did on my other hand earlier. So basically what I do is I just put a line of each colour that I'm going to use. Okay, you don't want too much polish because you can get your nails a bit thick doing this, but we'll see how we go. And then I'm going to put Baby Nest. I don't worry too much about the order in which I put these colours because they're all going to be merged and blended anyway. Just make sure before you put your brush back in its bottle that you haven't got one of the other colours on your brush to contaminate your bottle. So now we're going to put a bit of Paradise next to that. And I actually want this holographic to show through a fair bit, so I'm actually going to put some on the other side of my white as well. And as you can see, there's no particular rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of going, yeah, a little bit here, a bit there. It's all good. And then this glow colour at the bottom. Okay. Then what we're going to do is take a dotting tool. If you don't have a dotting tool, don't worry, use a toothpick. You can use a brush, you can use pretty much anything, and just gently sort of go through and I just do it once. I don't like to mix the colours up too much because you're not trying to blend the colours, you're just trying to get them to work together. So I'm going to take my ombre brush and I'm just going to scoop up a bit of that, and I'm going to place it on the nail in pretty much a random pattern. Now you can use a blooming gel for this, and I do sometimes. In fact, I did on my other hand, and to be quite honest with you, I'd put it away because I wasn't expecting to use it again, and I completely forgot. But you can see here that it doesn't really matter. The only real difference that it makes is that with the blooming gel is it encourages the colours to spread a little bit more, and that's fine if that's, you know, if that's the look you want. But I'm actually not too worried. I quite like the way this is coming together anyway. Going to fill in a little bit of this gap here. You want to be careful. You don't want to mess with it too much because then you'll find you just blend your colours together, and that's not what we're trying to do. Okay, we're trying to retain this look of the different colours sort of working together but not blending together. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to cure that in the lamp. Now, because that is quite a lot of gel polish, more than I would usually use, I'm actually going to cure that for 60 seconds, and then I'll be back. Okay, so while I was away, I actually top coated these 3 nails as well. So I just wanted to show you the difference. This is basically exactly the same technique. This finger had the blooming gel on it. The one that I have is this Amelie one. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that, to be honest. That's the one that I use, and I actually use that on this finger. This one, as you saw, I didn't because I completely forgot, to be quite honest with you. But you can see the difference, how it goes. So this index finger here, it's almost like the colours are a bit bolder. There's more distinction. You can quite clearly see that bird's nest is brighter. With this one, with the blooming gel, the colours blend more, and that's the purpose of the blooming gel basically, is that it sort of dissipates the colour on your nail. So depending on the kind of look that you're going for, either use blooming gel or not, entirely up to you. So I haven't top coated this one because we're going to stamp over it. The others have all been top coated. The top coat that I use is Luminaries Empower Top Coat. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to paint my last nail, which is this one. I'm going to put a bit of IPA on it just because it's probably been moved around the place. And while I'm here, I'm going to take the tacky layer off my ring finger because we're going to be stamping on it, so I don't want that tacky layer. So here's my baby nest. I'm just going to wait for that IPA to dry fully, and then we're going to go in with 2 coats of this. And yeah, as I said, I love this colour. This colour's beautiful, and it applies really nicely. It applies more like, you know, the other Madam Glam gel polishes. It just goes on really nicely. So you do get a little bit of streakiness, but as I said, that's pretty common in the first coat of any colour. It's when that streakiness doesn't go in subsequent coats, that's what I really don't like. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of cleanup along here. And in the lamp we go for 30 seconds. Okay, so we're back. I cured the first layer for 30 seconds. I've applied my second coat and cured that for 30 seconds. So now we're ready for stamping. I tend to like doing the same sort of things. I like my thumbnails to sort of semi-match. I never do them the same colour because that's just too much like consistency. But whatever design I do on one, I do on the other, so that, you know, they complement each other. So because we're stamping, I'm going to take a bit of my IPA and spray that on a bit of paper towel and remove that tacky layer from my nail. Now I'm going to do a bit of tidy up on my workstation because I need my stamping stuff, and that's going to take up a bit of room. So I'm going to go put this stuff away, get out my stamping stuff, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we have all of our stamping goodies ready to go. I'm not going to go into great detail on how to stamp with gel polish because I have another video on that already. So yeah, feel free to go back and have a look at that one if you want. But basically what I'm thinking is I might use this plate. No particular reason, just thought it looked quite cute. I've got some Born Pretty stamping polish here. So this is their white, but it's like a shimmer white as opposed to a clear white. So it sort of goes similar to that white gel polish that we had. But I'm also going to do a little bit of experiment. I haven't used this powder before. Here I've got some holographic powder from Born Pretty store as well, as you can see, which goes beautifully with this Madam Glam gel polish. So I actually haven't used it for stamping before, so we're going to do a little experiment and see how we go. So we remove the tacky layer from the nails that we're going to stamp. I might go with this plate to start with. I think that plate looks nice. So I'm just going to polish my plate, give a couple of scrapes, roll, pick up my image and place that on my thumb. Okay, and I'm just pushing down the edges because I've got quite a few. I might actually use my cuticle stick rather than my finger. Okay, now this is the experimental bit because that polish is still going to be a little bit tacky. So what we're going to do, clear that off that. I'm actually going to use my second stamper. Actually might not be big enough, so no I won't. I'll use this stamper again. And I'm just going to put some of this powder onto my stamper. As I said, I don't actually know if this is going to work. I've tried it with chrome powder and that does work. But obviously this is slightly different, but we'll give it a go and see how we go. So I've just randomly placed that. I'm just going to push that down onto my nail. Kind of. Probably not as much as I was hoping for, but it's given it just a little bit of a shimmer. Just get a little bit of a brush and push that off, and that's basically gone. So no, that actually did not work. Unlike the chrome powder, that did not work. Okay, so we won't worry about that. And I don't have like any sort of holographic chromey powder that I can use, so that's okay. That's looking a bit dull, so I might change that colour out and I might swap that out and use my bright white instead. So I'm just going to remove this. Really taking around the garden path today, aren't I? But this is often what happens when you, well, when I start to do my nails anyway. I start to do something, I have one idea and I'm like, that didn't quite turn out the way that I want. And you know what? That's absolutely fine because you just come in, remove what you've done and try again. And that's the joys of it. So I'm just going to get my white polish and I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. I've got my crisp white polish. So this is the two next to each other. Hopefully it's clear enough on the camera you can see the difference. This is a lovely colour, but I just wanted something a little bit more bold. So I'm going to use this one instead. Well, we'll try it anyway and see how we go, see how it looks. Because as we know, if we don't like it, we just take it off and try again. Okay, here's my image. Roll that on. Not sure if I'm in camera. Okay, so that's a little bit bolder. I'll put a little bit more down that side. Yeah, probably. I might just leave it with that one, I think. Yeah, okay, so now I'm going to stamp this finger. I use this plate this time, or this image. Oops, I haven't cleared off my stamper yet. Okay, stamp that. Center that in the camera. It's actually very hard to center it on the camera. Okay, so that's fine. It's done what I achieved, which is to sort of cover up that colour a little bit. Okay, so that's fine. I'm just going to stamp my other hand and top coat, and I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. I've just stamped all 4 nails I was going to stamp. As you can see, I've cleaned up 2, but not the other 2. So I'm just going to clean those up. I've just got a little cotton wool ball and my non-acetone nail polish remover. Because it's stamping polish, it's just standard polish remover is fine. And then I'm just going to clean up around there. You may notice that I've got a different stamp on my thumb. As I said, I just really wasn't feeling it today. It took me a couple of goes to get that. I think you probably saw when I did it, I wasn't overly excited about it. And yeah, as I said, some days it comes together a bit better for you, and other days it just doesn't, as you can see right now with my cleanup as well. Okay, I'm going to go offline and try and clean that up a little bit better. But there you go, that's today's nails. I hope you enjoyed this video. If nothing else, I hope you get out of it that sometimes, you know, your work just doesn't go to plan. You sit down with these best plans, you've got an idea of what you want, and it just doesn't work out for you. So just improvise, go with the flow. Either that or start again. I try not to do that because I try and think, right, you know, think outside the box, think what I can do with this. And then I'm quite happy with the way I salvaged that, because it was really the top of this colour that I really didn't like the way that it looked, so I've just covered it up. Equally, you could have done the same with crystals, but I didn't really have any crystals that match these colours particularly well, so I just went with stamping instead. Alright, thanks everyone, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.